SuperChargers. If you joined us for the last segment we did with these guys, we showed you Hammer Slam Bowser and his clown car, which we've got right on the front over here. But this time, we're going to take a look at turbocharged Donkey Kong and his sweet, sweet supercharger vehicle, which I'm really excited to show off as well.
Right, right. Turbocharged Donkey Kong is in the game with his land vehicle, the Barrel Blaster.
This guy.
Yep. Now, if you remember the game, the innovation this year is vehicles. So we have land vehicles, we have sky vehicles like the Clown Cruiser for Hammer Slam Bowser, and we even have sea vehicles. We've got all different kinds of vehicle gameplay up in the air, on the ground, underwater, on the surface of water. And what's cool about turbocharged Donkey Kong is he can bring his Barrel Blaster into all the land sections and drive fast-paced, point A to point B, big arenas, combat, puzzles to solve, all the land-based gameplay with his vehicle.
Yeah, with Skylanders SuperChargers, we've got a great story this year. And Chaos is back. He's got his ultimate weapon, the Doom Station of Ultimate Doomstruction.
Yes.
What a great name. And it's powered by the darkness. And the darkness is something that's been in Skylanders lore for the last 4 years. And now the darkness is going to take form. And it's powering this weapon that's almost a sky eater. It eats the sky, and it's destroying all of Skylands. And the darkness not only wants to destroy the Skylands, but the entire universe. So there's a great jumping off point for the Skylanders to send out a distress signal throughout the universe. And we had turbocharged Donkey Kong and Hammer Slam Bowser answer the call. So today we're going to kind of do a deep dive on DK and take a look at his moves and gameplay.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get folks a chance to see Donkey Kong in action, because I think you've done such a great job of capturing the essence of this character, and he's so much fun to run around as when you're in the game, and so many of his moves are they're very satisfying, I think, when you're playing.
He really has a great set of powers and moves. We had a ton of fun thinking up all the ways we could bring aspects of Donkey Kong from prior Nintendo games and how we could bring that into his moveset. So we packed him full of really cool melee moves and barrel moves, which hopefully we can show off with all of our different Donkey Kongs.
Yeah, and I think after we show off some gameplay, you guys brought us some early footage for him as well, so we can show a little bit of how his design came to be.
Yeah, I think folks really enjoyed seeing the concept art for Bowser on Tuesday, as well as some of the early gameplay test footage. So we brought a little bit along for DK as well.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah, why don't we jump in? So again, we're going to show the Cloud Kingdom level, and all of the levels can be played with any of the Skylanders, and their vehicles. But their strategies and gameplay vary based on which character you have. So we'll go through the same level areas and see how turbocharged Donkey Kong fares.
Awesome.
So we showed this level on Tuesday. It's the same level, but for those who didn't see it, what we did with this level was bring the clouds of the Skylands into the environment. So right down into the path that you're walking, that you're driving, that obviously that you're flying. And these 3D volumetric clouds that we're rendering in the level actually become part of the gameplay. So they hide puzzles, they hide enemies. Later in the level, there's a maze where you have to clear the clouds to sort of memorize the puzzle, and then the clouds come back and you find your way through. So bringing that gameplay into the level was a key part of the whole game for us, of having key gameplay hooks in each level.
And you'll see what we're doing with the graphics in this game. We're really visually pushing the envelope, and all of the cinematics are done in-engine, so it's really consistent with the rest of the game. And our cinematics team at Vicarious Visions have done an amazing job bringing these characters, the expressiveness, the emotion, to life. It's pretty awesome.
They really have it. I'm glad we're looking at the same area for this segment as well, because I think folks who have a chance to watch both will really see how different they feel when you're using a different Skylander character. It really changes how you approach things as far as dealing with enemies, dealing with puzzles, and just Bowser, it was just this minion summoning. You had Koopa Troopas everywhere, and you were shooting the shells all over the place. And it's very different from Donkey Kong, where he's got other moves at his disposal, but it's not like he can just summon a whole bunch of buddies and let them head out there and help him out in combat.
All right, so First, we'll bring in another one of our vehicles. We have 20 total Skylander vehicles in SuperChargers. This is Hot Streak. He's the land vehicle. He's an awesome, super fast-paced race car. Now, our vehicle range in the game is really wide. We have race cars, we have tanks, we have construction vehicles, dragsters, obviously the mine cart, which is its own type of vehicle, submarines and you know, boats, hovercrafts, jet planes. We have all types of vehicles, which really gives us a range of gameplay across the game.
I'm just imagining what your dev team thought when you were like, okay, so we need you to design all these vehicles, lots of different types. People have to be able to drive and fly and swim through our levels. And also, by the way, it's going to be fully backwards compatible, so you have to make sure everybody can drive every single vehicle.
Yeah, the one feature, vehicles, turned into something really huge. I mean, a big innovation. We really want to pay off that vehicle fantasy. We don't want to just have vehicles moving around the same play space as you go on foot, because that's just not exhilarating. You know, we really wanted to expand the environment, go to places you couldn't go on foot. And so, you know, Hot Streak will take us there with turbocharged Donkey Kong. So let's see some gameplay.
The thing is, his elemental affinity makes a lot of sense. It's interesting the vehicles also have an elemental affinity as well.
They do. And the really neat thing is that you can combine any vehicle with any character. And the game supports the 300 Skylanders that have come before, you know, the last 4 games. And we've upgraded all of them to pilot these insane vehicles. So here we have turbocharged Donkey Kong, and he's got his, you know, basic attack is a 3-hit combo. And again, that barrel is as lethal, if not more, than Bowser's hammer.
And here we get a really good look at the fog of war mechanic we were talking about earlier, where the clouds have really moved in. And it can be really nerve-wracking when you're not sure exactly what's lying just beyond the cloud cover.
Yeah, you could have enemies, you could have treasure. So you may want to throw the barrel into the clouds to take out any enemies that might be hiding behind. But you know, he's got his melee attacks with the barrel, and he's very acrobatic in his movement, very ape-like in his movement, and you know, he's having fun. You know, DK's having fun with you know, with the enemies, and so the ranged attack with the barrel is pretty cool. And those are your 2 basic attacks that you start with.
And then the third basic attack, which is the first part of the unlock tree. So with turbocharged Donkey Kong and Hammer Slam Bowser, they act like Skylanders in their upgrade tree. They have a whole bunch of powers that you can upgrade by trading in coins along the way to get new powers. So the first upgradable power is a reference back to Donkey Konga, but we'll have to switch to our second Donkey Kong to be able to unlock that power.
It takes quite a while to be able to play through the game, earn enough gold to be able to make new choices and upgrade Donkey Kong. So just like any good cooking show, we got all the different you know, versions of the upgrades. So there we have
awesome.
The bongos. It mesmerizes the enemies to the beat.
And deals damage as they get drawn into the barrel.
These infiltrators
Now
are
this
pretty
guy actually
cool.
just swallows the cloud.
They eat the clouds and they get bigger and get more powerful. So that fountain of clouds is actually spewing out additional power. So you've got to really take them down before they get too strong and they deflate when you take them out.
One thing that I really like, since we're chatting about the upgrade tree and the fact that you, it'll take you some time to increase the abilities of your character, is that you're not permanently committed to taking a certain path on the upgrade tree. If you decide that you've played, say, your Donkey Kong as a certain kind of style and you want to switch over, you can actually switch which kind of direction your character's taking. So it's not that it's a final decision. You can try out everything, see what you like.
Exactly. So let's take a look at some of his you know, other moves. We have a pretty cool move where you can become Super Kong.
Nice.
And the barrels become gloves, you know, for him. And you can actually roll around in an extremely large barrel.
Well, it's like time to go to work, shirt comes off, barrels come out.
Exactly. So when he's in Super Kong mode, he can also do a move we call Old School. And Old School
the girders
brings down the house.
That's
so
awesome.
We got the girders and ladders that you might recognize.
Oh, wow.
An awesome area attack, you know, to take down a lot of enemies.
So one thing I've got to ask about is his outfit, because he looks super stylish here.
Yeah, we'll go through the concepting process, but we really, because we're giving turbocharged Donkey Kong, a vehicle and a land vehicle. We said, can we explore looking at him as a daredevil, as a stunt man, being like having that reckless abandon. This is pretty cool, right? The arrow barrel. And the arrow barrel is neat because you can position where you want him to land. So you can sneak up on enemies. If you got an enemy encounter, you can get behind them really quick.
Nice.
The levels also have lots of interesting puzzles. So this is one of our laser puzzles where you're aligning the rotating platform. Yeah, that's great. You can land on them, behind them.
Nice.
Super fun.
So when we were first getting started talking to you about figuring out this integration of Nintendo characters into Skylanders, what was it that drew you to Bowser and Donkey Kong in particular?
I think they really gave us a richness in terms of as we were thinking about the moveset, where we could do things that would be expected of them, like throwing barrels and so on, but we could do other things that were very unexpected, which is an important part of what Skylanders is about, where the curiosity of, what does this guy do? And going through that upgrade path, that discovery, that magic, that wonder, it really gave us that ability, and the character designs lent themselves well to fitting within the Skylands. So, it really felt like a natural fit.
Yeah. So we come up to driving section in the game. So we can just jump into Hot Streak. Again, any Skylander can jump into any vehicle. And even all of our old Skylander characters, if you have a collection, can drive and fly. But you can see our driving gameplay here, fast-paced down the track, ramps, hazards, boost pads. We have a drift button, so you can take turns a little bit smoother or faster and boost out of them. And then these gear bits that you pick up along the way, you can use to upgrade your vehicle, get more weapon strength, more shield strength, make it more powerful to deal with all the enemies.
Let's talk about the upgrades for Hot Streak. So we have this mod system in the game where you can, interchange the engines and parts of the vehicle to some really tricked out configurations.
Cool.
We'll get some fire tires.
So you can do that at any point in the game. Just hit the D-pad to pause the game and mod out your vehicle, trick it out, make it look the way you want, change its stats, so maybe it drives a little faster, maybe it turns a little better. So based on the situation, you can mod out your vehicle for a little bit better gameplay.
So we have lots of different ways we express our vehicles. There's the straightaway racing type courses with car combat, but there's also sort of arena, destruction derby, car combat, these sorts of environments as well. And you really got to start thinking about, your vehicle configurations, or if you've got multiple, land vehicles, you can interchange between them, which we're doing right now. So you know what?
I'm going to take Donkey Kong off, because I don't want to supercharge it just yet.
All right. So let's bring Spitfire, but we'll show off the Barrel Blaster.
Nice.
In its basic form.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, introducing Barrel Blaster.
I love that you guys were able to add so much movement to these toys. So they don't sit on bases. They're just vehicles that you can actually roll around. The little aquatic guys have little propellers and stuff that move.
Yeah, it'd be no fun to have a vehicle sitting on a base.
Yeah.
So you really new magic, new innovation that allowed us to do that. And so you'll see the Barrel Blaster is pretty agile. It's a little bit wobbly, it is made of barrels, but it's pretty agile in combat, and you can spin around. And it can launch these mines, spiked barrels, which is awesome because you can lay out those landmines, for enemies to get trapped within.
Nice.
And they'll bounce around with real-time physics.
And every single vehicle has different customization options. So there's, I think, a lot of experimentation that's going to go on when folks get into this game and figure out exactly what kind of configuration of each vehicle really works best for them, because it's really something you can customize to your playstyle.
Yeah, you just want to try different things, and you'll find your favorite configurations. But, part of the fun is that discovery, and it's that upgrade path. So with all the gear bits that you're collecting, you can jack up the stats, figure out where you want to spend your points.
And here we've gotten to do a bit of a puzzle as well.
We do. You know, do you want to do this with? Do you want to bring DK back in?
Yeah,
let's do that. So yeah, there's actually puzzles built into the vehicle section. So you'll notice that there's a gate in this arena, and
Gonna
you can't get
supercharge
through
it.
Yeah, you can't get through the gate until you undo this harmonic lock. And we'll get a little bit of help.
Diddy!
So,
that's
surprise
awesome.
friend.
Whenever you have the natural pair of a character and their vehicle on the portal, you supercharge them. So you get, you know, this awesome over-the-top version of your vehicle with these unlocked mods that only you get when you're supercharged. You're more powerful, you have higher health. So
you see DK's eyes are still moving.
He's just like, what's going on?
Make up your mind. You got
looks
electricity
beastly.
soothing from the, you know, from the characters and the vehicles.
Wow.
Oh,
I missed it.
You got a little too much hair. You know, the really cool thing about the physics model with the vehicles is that they're tumbling around, and you can do like 720s and 1080s, but you'll always land correctly.
Nice. Oh,
check that out.
Whoa, that is sweet.
So you know what? If you're actually in a situation where there's a lot of enemies and you want to just like ram through them, the train is pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I love what you've done with the course design here with all these different ramps. And it's a really interesting place to explore. It's not just like flat stretches of highway that you're rolling down.
I think we may have had a little bit of influence from our Tony Hawk days.
I can tell you guys had a lot of fun working on this. Nice.
Yeah, so we're through that section, and we can keep going on foot. So we have a little bit of time, so why don't we spend a little bit more time exploring this level?
Definitely.
I've changed to the next upgrade path of turbocharged Donkey Kong. You can see here we've got these, now we have these electric hazards we have to avoid, a little platforming gameplay while we're on foot. But with this path of upgrades for Donkey Kong, all of his barrels are now TNT explosive barrels.
Skylanders of the Earth element are stronger.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Come on, David. All right. So now the cloud cover is more significant. It's stormy. You know, the weather is changing, and you got more deadly enemies coming down the path. So the level evolves, you know, and gets more challenging as you go. And you have to like think about like the tricks that you learn. You got treasure, you know, along the way. And these barrels, they're explosive. The ones you throw, the bongos. So the
awesome.
exploding barrel path is part of that branch in doing your upgrades, and so you can get some pretty lethal moves, you know, using these set of upgrades.
I'm so glad that you picked two characters that are just so burly and fun to fight with. Here, it feels so good when you're stomping around as Bowser or as Donkey Kong. It's just, yeah.
Our animation
no one's
team,
gonna mess with you.
Our animation team had so much fun. I mean, they put, you know, their heart and souls into animating the characters and just really getting it right.
And then on our other upgrade path, we get spiked barrels, so dealing even more damage with these spiked barrels.
Oh, nice. And there we can see the little target.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the gloves are spiked.
That's brutal.
And yeah, so is the rolling barrel.
It's interesting to see like the ghost of the rolling barrel going ahead of you as well.
Yeah, so that's actually an upgrade. As part of that rolling barrel, the ghost of it will go in and do damage as well. So we're actually coming up on a another vehicle zone. We've got an optional area here that's in the sea. You don't have to complete this if you don't have a sea vehicle. You can keep progressing in the level. But there's this storm generator that's creating all of the storms and clouds. And if you want to take the sea path, you can go down there and try and shut down that storm generator. So
I think we should.
We'll bring in Dive Bomber and have DK pilot.
What's cool about this toy is it actually has a torpedo or propellers that you can twirl. You know, many of our toys have different aspects that articulate. Obviously, all of our car vehicles roll. You can play with them off the portal, even when you're not playing the game. Great fun on the bedroom floor, living room floor,
Real toys.
Nice.
So here we have going on the surface of the water, and all the sea vehicles can go, on the water and also underwater.
I love that we've got kind of a cockpit view of DK down here in the corner too. We can kind of see like how his face is doing when he's.
And it's pretty cool because he's actually looking where your stick is pointing.
Oh.
So when you're in flight mechanics, he's actually like looking at where you're targeting. But here we have like some real-time physics and water dynamics and hazards that are on the surface, so you have to make those dives, including secret areas that are only underwater.
It's really a speedy area as well.
Yeah, we have lots of fast-paced, on top of water gameplay. It's a lot like, our driving gameplay. Oh, we found a mod chest.
Nice. So this is actually one of the most powerful mods for water vehicle.
It's
Mr.
so
Squeaks.
cute.
Mr. Squeaks.
It's our pool floaty. And the pool floaty, of course, in Skylands, if we can switch over to the pool floaty, gives you ultimate speed.
Yes.
Makes me go
pool
faster.
floaty.
I know. Pool floaties make you go faster.
Well,
everybody
it's so
knows
light.
that.
So light.
I can just imagine you guys had so much fun coming up with all of these different upgrades for the vehicles. Looks like a blast.
Yeah,
So what's cool is with our sea vehicle gameplay in SuperChargers is we have these top of water, skimming along the water, fast-paced sections. We have open arenas with more combat or exploration, but we even have levels where you go deep beneath the surface of the water and explore parts of the Skylands that people have never been to before. Really,
yeah,
really
the
great.
super underwater, vehicles are really interesting, and
It's
some
interesting
great
how there
puzzles.
might be power-ups tucked away as well, so it's worth taking the time to explore, maybe pass through an area again and see what else you can find.
Now we're not going to be able to go through this mini boss, but we can
looks
also
cool.
show a little bit of the gameplay, maybe for about 10 or 15 seconds. But you can see how like the gameplay now changes. So the waves are actually, much bigger, and you're going to have to like ride the crest of those waves and avoid the electricity, and also actually submerge to be able to avoid the missiles and hazards that are in this environment.
That looks awesome.
You've got to, as you play through this this mini boss, there are enemy waves that come out at you, and you've got to like trick the enemies to get hit by the electricity, of the mini boss, and avoid them at the same time.
And I can imagine how this encounter goes really depends on which vehicle you've got as well, since the different water vehicles are going to handle differently and have different powers.
Exactly.
You might have to do a little bit of strategizing here as far as, okay, if I have multiple options, which one am I going to bring into this battle?
Right.
Exactly.
This submarine is especially good for this battle because his secondary weapon is this sonar ping that basically all your missiles home in on enemies after you do a sonar ping. So with all of those fast boats that are attacking you from all angles, you can use that secondary weapon really effectively.
And every level in the game has like unique mechanics associated with it. We also showing at E3 this year a level that's the Cloudbee the Dragon, where you're actually riding part of the level is a giant dragon. And
cool.
when you're on the dragon, you're driving around and you go on foot, and there's a giant temple on the back of the dragon, and the whole level is moving back and forth, so all the hazards are moving. So if you're on foot and you're playing with the Koopas, they're sliding around, and it's really amazing to see that sort of gameplay. It's an incredible amount of variety. So your tactics change based on the combination of characters, and that's part of the fun and discovery that we have, with these characters. So speaking of which, why don't we show some of the concept art?
Yes.
So this is
I would love
this
to
is where
see
we landed with turbocharged, Donkey Kong, but maybe we can, queue up how we got there.
Let's see. Guys, you have some concept art for us? Awesome. So we'll get that loaded up here.
So yeah, we did some early,
cool.
sketches and studies on how DK moves. We really wanted to get that right. So we just, went with a classic look, but we tried different styles. Is he the Fonz? Is he like American Graffiti? Kind of look. We tried lots of different ideas, and we got the jacket. We got the leather jacket going. We were trying ideas for the vehicles. That was a bit of a minecart feel, and we started exploring that stuntman, maybe a little bit more primal with the barrels.
We looked into whether we could get a banana element type, but the Skylands doesn't have banana elements.
So we made him a life character, but you can see the evolution of the outfits, to where we landed. We wanted to have the yellow that contrasted nicely with this red tie. And we had exploration around the vehicle types, and we landed with this awesome like roadster, dragster type vehicle, but like with that minecart theme, which is very unique. So you can see how like the toys evolved, from those final pieces of concept art.
I love that the barrel was always very central to the design.
Absolutely, it's very iconic, and it was finding that balance between making the characters recognizably, Donkey Kong and Bowser, but bringing a new twist to them and bringing these costumes in. So we explored again the moveset, the bongos, and what we want to do with music, and it's just a real sort of tribute to who the character was. And again, the arrow barrels in prior games, they're like prefixed within the level, and part of the challenge that we had was how do we make that dynamic within this game?
Donkey Kong's always having so much fun.
always smiling, in for a good time. And it really, the gameplay, evolved through a lot of different, testing, and iteration. And I brought some footage as well,
awesome.
of some of our gameplay tests, so I can
We've got that ready to go, I think,
share
as well,
that
hopefully.
with you.
See when our guys can bring that up. There we go.
Yeah, so early on, we did some tests around the bananas, and we had a banana economy, if you will. So as he was playing and he would be doing his moves, he would be like throwing out these bananas, then he would collect them. But it actually became a little too complex for all of the combat mechanics. It worked great in sort of test levels, but it was an interesting idea that just became a little too unwieldy, over time. We also tried different things with the arrow barrels, trying different positioning based on the dynamics of it. And we had the square arrow barrel. We thought, what? We need to make this really fast in combat. And we tried it with the square, and it worked really well. And we got feedback from Nintendo saying, this is great. It's working really well, but it goes by really quick. And so maybe you do just the triangle. And old school, we tried some stuff where we wanted to turn them into pixels. And so we had the girders and the ladders turned into small pixels. And that was a cool idea, but it didn't read as well when you had like so much action going on screen. So it was iterating, simplifying, tweaking it, getting the timing just right, and also balancing like how powerful they were.
Yeah, I imagine that's really challenging. We've got like so many Skylanders at this point, and knowing that all of them are going to be operating within the same game potentially, making sure the balancing still stays stable.
It's really challenging too, ever increasingly challenging when you have a larger cast. But there was so many different things that we could just try, and our game engine allows us to do all those things very quickly and iterate on it, and it was just a lot of fun. And when we went to Kyoto, we were nervous. We didn't know how people were going to react to it, but it was received really positively, and they asked for changes, and we were able to make changes so quickly and just nail it. And so we had a lot of fun, like making the characters and really integrating them within Skylands.
Well, I think that definitely comes across, just like looking at how this game turned out and how all of this turned out. Like, there's a lot of love that went into this, and I think that's like, that's super cool to see.
Indeed, and like early on, we said we wanted to figure out a way of making Donkey Kong and Bowser not just be the Skylanders guest stars, but act as Amiibo as well. And that was technically very challenging, and we had a lot of back and forth. With the Nintendo technical team, to figure this out. But we came up with a very elegant solution, with the base. And the base, it's currently set as a Skylander. And I just twist the base about 15 degrees. And it has a label in there that says Amiibo. And so as a Skylander, you can put them on the Portal of Power, and they'll act as a Skylander, remember all of the upgrades and everything that you've done with the character, but you can switch it to Amiibo, and you can play in your favorite Nintendo title that supports Amiibos. And we're storing memory for both games at the same time.
So you just bounce back and forth as much as you want.
You can bounce back and forth and have fun with it. And it's two toys in one. So, the team at Vicarious Visions did an amazing job, and collaboration with Activision and of course the team at Nintendo. I think we're really, really proud of what we've accomplished in a very short period of time.
We can't wait for people to play it.
I know. I've had a chance to play with it at work, and it's a blast to play with these guys. I guess the last thing we need to cover is how do folks get turbocharged Donkey Kong and the Barrel Blaster if they're interested in picking them up?
So the game comes out on September 20th in the US, and turbocharged Donkey Kong and Barrel Blaster will be in the Wii U starter pack. It's that easy. Hammer Slam Bowser, Clown Cruiser are in the Wii and 3DS versions of Skylanders SuperChargers, also available in September.
And those are different experiences, right?
Yep, those are complementary games with totally different gameplay.
We know that there's a lot of fans who have both 3DS and Wii U, so they got different games to experience, and the characters are cross-compatible, and they all have like custom moves designed for both sets of games, and it's just
I am looking forward to playing this a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by and giving us a look, especially like the concept art. Oh, one last thing, we want to show these guys.
Oh yeah,
I just looked down and we've got this like bomb case
I did want to bring
here.
it, like the original toy sculpt.
Yeah.
So it actually came out pretty close to the to the final, but we had a lot of iteration on doing the 3D. The printed sculpts, and we do this all within the studio, so we can iterate on it, and you can see
the level of detail is crazy.
Yeah, the incredible level of detail. You can see the creases on his jacket, and this was DK was hard to get right. He almost defies gravity, with his weight, but he will not tip over, and so it's a lot of fun, and
awesome.
Really want to thank everybody who's been involved in the project, the team at VV, but also want to thank the community. We've had a crazy few days here at E3, but it's been really fun, seeing all the tweets and all the feedback from the community fans, the Nintendo fans, as well as Skylanders fans. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by and showing us this. Folks watching, if you happen to be at E3, we do have this playable on the show floor, so swing by. And please don't go anywhere. In a few seconds, we're going to come back and show you some more Super Mario Maker. So